Hari Om everyone. Let's chant and contemplate on shloka from Sankhya Yoga 2.62, 63 and 64. Dhyāyato viṣhayān puṁsaḥ saṅgas teṣhūpajāyate saṅgāt sañjāyate kāmaḥ kāmāt krodho bhijāyate. While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger. Dhyāyatāḥ, contemplating, viṣhayān, sense objects, puṁsaḥ, of a person, saṅgah, attachment, teṣhu, to them, sense objects, upajāyate, arises, saṅgāt, from attachment, sañjāyate, develops, kāmaḥ, desire, kāmāt, from desire, krodhaḥ, anger, abhijāyate, arises. Krodhaḥ bhavati sammohaḥ, sammohāt smṛiti-vibhramaḥ, smṛiti-vibhramaḥ buddhi-nāśo, buddhi-nāśat pranashyati. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed, and when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. Krodhaḥ, from anger, bhavati, comes, sammohaḥ, clouding of judgment, sammohāt, from clouding of judgment, smṛiti, memory, vibhramaḥ, bewilderment, smṛiti-vibhramaḥ, from bewilderment of memory, buddhi-nāśah, destruction of intellect, buddhi-nāśat, from destruction of intellect, pranashyati, one is ruined. Rāga-dveṣha-viyuktais viṣhayān indriyaiṣcharan atma-vaṣhayir-videyātma prasadam-adhigacchati. But one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion, even while using the objects of the senses, attains the grace of God. Raga, attachment, dveṣha, aversion, viyuktaḥ, free, too, but viṣhayān, objects of the senses, indriyai, by the senses, charan, while using, atma-vaṣhayir, controlling one's mind, videyātma, one who controls the mind, prasadam, grace of God, adhigacchati, attains. What do you, sir?
So we will listen to everyone, and then we will understand. So would you like to begin, Ishaji? You can look at the 62, 63, 64 together, and you can share your viewpoint on how you want to interpret.
Okay. How do I start? For me, starting is the problem.
Would you like to listen to Shubhaji first?
Yeah, Shubhaji, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, what Krishna is trying to tell us is, when we get attached to all these senses, when our body is, when we are more towards the body, mind, intellect, when our focus is more on those senses and body, mind, intellect, that is when all our problems come in. Attachment, all these attachment will lead to desire, and desire, because of desire, anger comes in. This is only because we think we are the body. We do not think beyond, we are beyond all these things. So that is what causes all the problems in our life. So anger, we know if there is anger, it leads to destruction. So that is when there is anger, it also clouds our decision making, judgment, and in turn even scientifically, it's proved that anger definitely reduces our memory power. So all these things are because we are more attached to our body rather than thinking that we are above and beyond this body, mind, and intellect. Next one, sir. So if one is able to control our mind and we are free from all this attachment and desires, that is when we can that is when we realize that we are that Brahman and nothing but Brahman. So that this what is that? This knowledge that we are that Brahman can be attained with the grace of God and Guru.
Thank you, Shubhaji.
Thank you.
Santoshji, would you also be able to share, or you want to just listen in today?
No, actually, I don't have book and also have not prepared. I'll be listening.
Okay,
Might
sir.
be after, yeah, might be later.
No issues, Santoshji.
Thank you.
Ishaji, does this give you enough start?
Yes, whenever I hear Shubhaji speaking, it's like, she's just saying from textbook. I'm like, oh my God, I have to say like this. So I think like, it's not, I think previous, like in fourth chapter and all, one of the shlokas, I think we said that as long as we consider ourselves as doer, that is when the problem arises. So here you can relate. I feel if I can relate to this, then I feel like if I think I am only doing, then there is a result expected. And when a result is expected, it will be either as what we want it to be, or it can be different, because end of the day, it's not in our hand. And when it is not something which we want it to be, then we will get angry with the result. We will get angry with somebody who has attained something which we wanted. Okay. So with anger, we will try. The first time when you do something, the amount of what do you call commitment which you put in for a certain things without expecting a results, and if you are very particular of what you want, and if you're with anger, with jealousy and anger and all such feelings, when you do, it will result in even worst possible. The possibility of the result becoming worse is closer, more. So with that comes, the judgment. Obviously, when you really want something bad and when you're not getting it, you will end up taking the path which may not be the right path also. So if you have to give the latest example, to our results only are there as proof. So we know that, whatever has happened, there was it. We all know it was not a fair election from, for that matter, from anybody's point of view. But yes, because something is not favorable, things that is working out will always also the result, the action against that result, everything will be something which is against what you can do if you didn't desire. So I think the latest shlokas, which one video which Annamalai had spoken about, that desire leads to wanting a result, particular result, and once you want a particular result, then you will do anything to attain that. So he had beautifully explained it in few seconds at time. I think that is what happens. But one I had on doubts, see, now 700 shlokas also, if you have to, most of the time, not most, 80%, 90%, it's always saying detachment is the key. Detached from your body, detached from results, detached from desire. But, they were saying that recently, after hearing everything from Krishna itself, when Abhimanyu died, Krishna was sitting and crying. So, it's easy to say detach, but then again, we will go back to that attachment itself. So, I feel this, more than detachment, it is like more of how much you can attach personally. I feel I don't know if I can completely detach from anything, But yeah, as I think we discussed previously, how much, if I can know that I cannot control others' reaction towards me and how much of attachment I can have towards materialistic or with human beings, that might lead to me doing things better. But personally, I don't think so. I don't know. Today, Isha cannot say I can detach from things fully.
So the question is, what is the right way to be in life? Is that the question? Is it
No,
ever possible?
the things, it's very easy to say that, keep doing, detach from, things because you're not doing it. Anger is something, the irritation, the anger, we know we cannot control things. Things will generally happen, take its natural course. But the thing is, how much of attachment, how much can you allow things to get inside you, get inside your thoughts, is what I actually want to know. How much, once you told me for, I think, I don't know for what, but you had told me that, you are not your thoughts. So how much I can, what people say or what is surrounding me, how much of space can I allow it in my thought for that particular thing? Because I am not able to detach.
Okay. All right. Okay. So these three are kind of like the most important shlokas in terms of helping us to live a life of equanimity. So let's first of all understand through a different story. So let's, in the story, there is this granddaughter, and she has received a beautiful watch, an antique watch from her grandfather. And she loved her grandfather. He is no more there. And she preserved that watch as a memory of her grandfather, and she used to take a very good care of it. One day, unfortunately, it stopped working. No matter whatever she knew, whatever she did, it stopped working. And she felt really sad. It was as if like what she used to feel as her grandfather is with her, because that sound of that watch and every day winding it and doing that somehow kept the memories of her grandfather alive for her. And today when it stopped working, she felt as if a part of her being has been taken away. She felt very sad. She was stuck with grief. And somebody said, okay, why are you so sad? Why don't you go to a repair person? So she went to a repair person, and that person looked at it and said, oh, this is a very antique watch. I don't think, first of all, who really cares about these watches anyway? Why don't you just let it be? If you really so much care, why don't you just keep it in your showcase? She said, no, I want it to be working. It reminds me of my grandfather. I have so many memories. He said, sorry, I cannot do anything. And she looking at her face, he said, if at all there is somebody, I know there used to be one old watch repair person. See whether he can be of some help. She said, where is he? Where is he? He gave some address, and after a lot of search, she went there, and there was one old person wearing a glass and looking through something, and then he was there. She gave him the watch. And she said, I'm so feeling so sad. Is it possible for you to repair it? He said, wait, let me see. So he slowly, because of his old nature and whatever, he slowly opened it and examined everything. And then he said, so simple. And then he took something, and then, he clicked and then he snapped it back and then said, now say. Wow, it was working. And her face lit up again. So this is the story. Now, this story has so much to teach us. So in this story, the granddaughter, why was she sad in the first place? Why was she sad in the first place, Ishaji?
Because it was her grandfather's watch, memories.
Right? She has so many memories attached to that. When she looks at it, all the childhood memories and whatever her grandfather must have told and done, everything is coming to her, right? So there is so much of feeling invested in that watch. Okay, that is one reason why she was feeling sad. But now go back to that incident where that watch stopped working. Why was she sad at that moment?
I think she remembered that her grandpa had gone. So the watch will also go or something like that, or heartbeat has stopped.
So the fact that, there is something that reminds me of my grandfather, but I don't know how to correct it. I don't know what to do with it, right? So that inability to correct it also added to her misery, is it not? So now she went to that first repair fellow. And that repair fellow, of course, compounded her problem by saying, oh, it's an old watch, I cannot repair it, nothing. So she felt sad even more. But now let's shift to that old repair person. Now that old repair person, do you think he was also sad like her?
No.
Why would he not be sad? Because, of course, here is a person who's coming crying and feeling so sad. Why would he not be sad?
He has no attachment to that watch. It's just one job for him to do it.
That is one reason, right?
Yeah.
Now, there was another watch repair person. No, he is also watch repair person, the first watch repair person.
Yeah.
But he lacked something that this other old watch repair person has. What did he lack?
Experience
of working with this watch, correct? No. So he didn't know how to fix this watch. So in a way, when she was sad, though he wanted to, he couldn't do anything. Why? Because he did not understand how that watch was working. So when you look at this particular story, like that granddaughter, I may want to preserve something in life. However, when I don't understand how it can be preserved, when I don't know how to take care of it, then I am anyway going to be in misery. See, something has come to me. It's like somebody has given me a beautiful gift. But if I have not developed the capacity to understand how that has to be preserved, then one day or the other, I'm going to be in misery. Correct? No? Whereas that old repair person, he has studied that watch because of the experience of having worked with it. So he understands the mechanism of the watch. So he is not disturbed. He's simply looking for how do I make it work again? The first repair person may have been feeling a little jittery. I want to help, but I don't know how to help. Why? Because he has not yet studied the mechanism. The second person can see the sadness, understands the reason for the sadness, which is in this story nothing but the watch is the cause. So he understands the mechanism of the watch. He understands what needs to be done to make it work again. Like that, here, Sri Krishna is teaching us what is the source of something that most of us, many of us, or maybe almost all of us suffer from, which is anger. What is the mechanism of the anger? And what is it? The source of that mechanism is this, what you referred as attachment. So there are two separate things that let us understand deeply. One is the mechanism of the anger. Another one, what is at the root of it? So Sri Krishna is first of all giving us a very simple explanation. Anger. What is anger? Anger, from a physiological standpoint, you and I know very clearly. When anger happens, our ears start burning, our shoulders get stiff, our eyes start burning, our mouth becomes dry, our heart starts pounding harder. somehow, there is a lot of strength in the hand and other organs, as if, you want to hit, your voice becomes harsher. So these are all the physiological, the outward signs of anger. But here, Sri Krishna is showing us what is the inner cause of that outward signature. The outward, all of us have experienced. I'm sure you also know many stories of anger leading to a lot of destruction in life. I must have told you one or two such stories. There used to be one bank employee. One day, she was not in office. And the next day when she came to the office, the manager called her, and she was also 10 minutes late. He called her to the cabin and started yelling at her. What do you think? Is this the time to come to office? Look at it. Yesterday you didn't even inform. You didn't even send a leave letter. And today you've come 10 minutes late. You think this is your father's property? Is this how you walk in? Is this your father's house? As soon as she heard that, she started screaming. Till then she was just listening. Then she started screaming, "Appa, Appa, Appa." And then she sat in the chair and she started shivering and she passed out. This manager became really upset. My God, what happened? And he didn't know. He suddenly called everybody, come. And then somebody took some water and then sprinkled on her and put some fan, and then slowly she opened her eyes. Yeah, and the manager was explaining, all I did was, she was 10 minutes late. Yesterday she didn't send a leave letter. And the moment I said, "Is this your father's property?" she started screaming. I don't know what happened to her. Is she all right? Then somebody told him, look, just yesterday she lost her father. Just yesterday her father passed away. And for whatever reason, maybe she did not inform you. And she had come from cremation today and she was late. And the moment you said, that triggered. Now, this is the story, right? So in this story, thankfully, nothing unfortunate happened. But there's another anger story. Again, all of these are stories, but these are real incidents. So there was a young fellow who went to a coffee shop and he was in a very happy mood. He had 2 or 3 of his friends and they all sat together at the table and they ordered a coffee. The waiter was a little old fellow and he was bringing coffee, and suddenly he shivered and the coffee fell on the table. On the table, this young fellow had kept his certificates. And as soon as he saw coffee spill on that certificate, he got terribly upset. He stood up and he gave one putt to that old fellow. He was a very young and sturdy fellow, and that was an old fellow. By the hit of it, that old fellow went and bumped and he died. Now, this young fellow was in the coffee shop to have a celebration because he had just then passed and he was about to go for a visa interview. Tomorrow is a visa interview and he had received the certificate from his college. And after that, he was supposed to go to USA for studies. Now, because of his unfortunate incident, he is now in the jail. Now, forget about USA. He cannot probably even find a good job. Now, the thing is, what is happening in all these incidents is something called as a anger. Now, you and I may think, okay, anger is something that is caused by an external situation. Is it really so? Is it that the external situation is the one which caused that raise in the temper? That is the most fundamental truth that Sri Krishna is teaching us by showing us the mechanism of the anger. Just like how the watch, there is especially if you've seen that old mechanical watch, you have to wind it. When you wind it, there is a spring that captures that winding motion, and that spring is designed to open up in units of the seconds, and that opening up is the one which causes the second hand to move, and it is connected to another gear which makes the minute hand also to move once this rotates 60 seconds. So like that, each of this is designed very carefully to bring about a particular kind of a change. And how it brings about the change, if somebody does not understand, they may end up like that first watch repair person, feeling jittery because he doesn't know how to fix that, right? So like that, now here Sri Krishna is showing us the mechanism of the anger. What is the mechanism of the anger? Within you and me, when you and me are feeling connected, deeply connected to something in life. In the bank employee story, that lady is very deeply connected to her father. In the second story that I narrated, that fellow feels deeply connected to that certificate. Now, when that certificate or that father, something that happened there, what happened? That manager simply said, "Is this your father's house?" What happened in the second case? That bearer poured the coffee. I mean, he did not intentionally pour it, but it accidentally poured. So something happened to something that I have a lot of attachment towards. When that happened, suddenly my response or my reaction, in that case, that lady's reaction, or in that case, that young fellow's reaction, it just shot up. And when that shoots up, our mind or our antakarana, our inner instrument, so we see the hand and the eyes and the nose and all the organs we see, but what makes these organs work is our antakarana. And we have seen that our antakarana has 4 functional parts: mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Mana is where all the impressions, sensations from the outside world come. And buddhi is the one which decides what is the impression that is coming in, or what is the sensation that is coming in, by using the chitta, by looking into the memory bank, and by using who I am. Is it my thing or somebody else's thing? So in that story of that coffee spilling over that certificate, if that coffee had spilled in some other table, that young fellow wouldn't have got upset. Why? Because my certificate, nothing has happened. But in this case, coffee spilled over my certificate. So the ego is connected with that object called certificate. And that object called certificate is very important for my journey to go to US. It is my life property, right? So that me and my connection is deeply connected with that object for that young fellow. So because of that, the moment that coffee spilled, when that sensation came, what sensation? Coffee spilling over that certificate. That is a sensation that came in. When that sensation came in, how is intellect decided? My God, I'm ruined. So you see, in that very particular moment, I am ruined is the first instinctive reaction that might have come. But you and I, who are not connected to that story, can think of 10 different responses. Oh, coffee spilled. Let me first of all take and shake off the coffee. Or coffee spilled. Let me first figure out if the coffee really has smudged the content. Oh, the coffee spilled. That's all. I can go back to the university office again and then get it. Maybe I will have to go early tomorrow. So like that, if you really just start thinking, right, about what are all the possible ways by which now this incident has happened. But if I start thinking in terms of how I can take the next step, one of the response definitely is I stand up and I show my anger to this person. I yell at this person. I could have expressed by yelling at this person. Hey, can you not see? You old fellow, you silly fellow, something I could have said. Or one of the other reaction, which is what this person displayed, is I gave one thump. So see, out of all possible responses, this fellow's judgment got clouded at that point in time. Why? Something of importance to me is now destroyed. So at the root of any anger, when you notice, there is me and mine connected. There is something related to me and mine that is deeply connected. So if somebody comes and is burning a flag, if that flag happens to be as an example, some other country's flag, you or I may not feel all that upset. If that flag happens to be an Indian flag, you and I will feel terribly upset. Why? My country's flag, my certificate, my father, my intelligence is questioning. When somebody comes and says, idiot fellow, don't you know this much? My intelligence, I am always right. So when there is a me and the mine connected to that particular object, so it's not even the object. I have developed the attachment to that object. That piece of paper did not mean anything to this fellow. Imagine that piece of paper he had seen before it had his marks card, right? So that piece of paper was a plain piece of paper. And then somebody must have printed all the marks card and everything. So before that, it was simply a piece of paper. If the same piece of paper had been given to this young fellow, he wouldn't have felt anything. So now what has happened? That piece of paper has something in it which relates to me. And that has been, now I have kind of acquired that. I have developed a deep attachment, sense of attachment. It meant nothing to me just some time back. Now, as soon as I received it and I saw my name and my number and everything, it means something to me. That fellow, again, I'm just giving an example. That fellow who probably used to run around your house did not mean anything. The moment he got married to you, became a husband and became your property. Now the sense of attachment to that fellow is so deep that the fellow called your child, when in the stomach you had never seen the face, you didn't even know, boy or a girl, especially in India, it is illegal to find out the gender, right? But the moment it is out and the moment you first lay your hands, my child. Now this child is my child. So you see, no sense of belongingness, if for whatever reason, may it not be so. Just to say, take the example as a story. If the child, like how it happens in the Bollywood movies, at the time of the birth, you are sleeping and somebody comes and switches the children, then, whoever they switch, you may start thinking is my child. So it is like, there's a wonderful song, no? Rajkumar's song, Sri Krishna has two mothers, Yashoda and Devaki. Who is his real mother? Who is his real mother? So, like that, you and I develop attachment in life. Attachment is not natural. It is something that starts at a particular point in time. How? By you and me investing your and my feeling into that. There's another beautiful story of, Akbar making fun of all these so-called Murti Pujakas. He says to Birbal, what is this nonsense? You take a photo and then you call it your god. How nonsense it is. So apparently Birbal says, Jahapana, wait, I'll show you. So he calls one of the servant and he says, bring the photo of Jahapana, a photo of the mother of Jahapana. So he brings the photo of Jahapana. Jahapana, who is this? Oh, Mera Ami Jahan, my mother. Jahapana, I'll keep it on the floor. Please come and stamp on it. He becomes wild with anger. What are you talking about? Jahapana, this is just a photo. This is just a photo. This is not your mother. Oh, correct. So you see, like that, you and I invest feelings into something and you and I become attached. This piece of paper was nothing. But now I can say, you know what this book is? This contains the most divine knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. This contains Bhagavad Gita, most divine knowledge. But this piece of paper, just some time back, was nothing. Now I can also say Bhagavad Gita, what? Yo, only for old people. So I have no feelings. But I can say Bhagavad Gita, it contains all the secrets of life. If only you make an effort to study. It is so divine. You and I are investing our feelings. And you and I can say, oh, it is so sacred. It's so divine. Huh? Hey, this is nothing. Waste. It's you and I who can create this attachment. And what Sri Krishna is showing us is that when you have that deep attachment, realize, Arjuna, realize your mind can get clouded. It can get clouded because where there is a deep sense of attachment, there is bound to be a fear of losing that. When somebody comes and says, you idiot fellow, if I keep thinking of myself as a very intelligent fellow, I am bound to get affected. If somebody as much as comes and, in front of you, scolds your child, hey, don't you know, is this the way your mother has taught you? Don't you have manners? You feel so upset. You feel as if, my God, in life, so many things happen only because of these kinds of things. How could they insult my baby? Right? All of this thing is very common. Why? Because something related to me is getting upset here. So that mechanism is what Sri Krishna is showing us. That is what led to the destruction of Ravana. I don't know whether he really cared for his sister getting a nose cut, but he got terribly upset. How can somebody, me, Ravana, the king of Lanka, how can somebody insult my sister? It is not that Shurpanaka got upset or Shurpanaka got wounded. My sister, mine, something related to me. So you see, this me and the mine causes this whole chain of further thinking. That's what Sri Krishna is showing you and me first and foremost. And then saying, look, it is not natural that attachment is you have to accept as given. You have gotten into a habit of that by constantly brooding over it. Your husband was not your husband before the marriage. The first time you laid your eyes on your photo or, you got married, step by step, today, it has become part and parcel of your life. So on and so forth with everything around you. It was not there one point in time. You did not know even your name. As a little baby, you did not know your name. Today, if I as much as take one of your name and then I start, creating some funny sounds with your name, you feel terribly upset. That is how children tease, no? They take, especially in childhood, that's how they would tease you, right? They would take your name and then do something, Viji, Piji, crazy. So, you crazy fellow. Why? It rhymes with, children can somehow figure out some rhyming thing. Viji, Piji, crazy. So now I start feeling I'm crazy. Why? Because it is connected to Viji. So when I was born, I didn't even know my name. And now I've become deeply connected with that name. So what Sri Krishna is saying is, look, this sense of attachment, which is originating from your own me and the mind, is the cause of this entire loss of intelligence and can be the cause of your destruction. So therefore, be free. How to be free? Very easy. How did you first of all get into that attachment? By constantly thinking about it, no? By constantly brooding over it, no? By constantly saying it is mine, oh, Chinna, Muddu, you, Bangari, you look so nice. That's how you started developing attachment to your child. So even now, for somebody else, Kannadadalli ಗಾದೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಹೆತ್ತವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಗ್ಗಣ ಮುತ್ತು. For somebody else, oh my God, even after 20 years, look at them, they treat their child as if it's a small baby. But for you, they're still you cannot grow beyond that. Why? Because you have invested your feelings. So Krishna is saying, look, you have invested your feelings and you developed the attachment. Now, you practice something called as a sakshi bhava. I understand, Arjuna, you have deep sense of attachment, but you practice sakshi bhava. Be a witness. When any sensations come into your mind, be a witness to that sensation. And when you be a witness, if you do not react immediately, you will see whatever impressions that are stored and how those impressions rise up. As soon as that sensation comes, you may say, oh, my baby. So simply learn to watch. Oh, my book. Simply learn to watch. And as you simply learn to watch, you will see that me and the mine arises. And you can also see the tendency of your mind to give a particular reaction. Let it bubble up. And now simply ask the question, do I need to act in this situation? If so, what are the possible ways in which I can act? Identify. Like that old watch fellow. He was not upset. When she started crying or doing whatever, he said calmly, wait. Let me see. He simply noticed, this lever, I just simply have to put back this lever. So like that, find out in a given situation all possible alternative ways in which you can respond and see what is the best possible response. Take that step. Is that possible response giving the right outcome? Great. Is it not? See what is the next possible thing. So when is this possible? People throw tomatoes, onions, praises at Modi. But he accepts both and he looks at how do I take the next step in life? Otherwise, among all of us, probably he is the one who's getting all the scoldings in the world. How much he should be really sitting and crying and yelling and saying, Ayo Deva, why me? I'm 76, I've left my wife for the sake of country. My mother died for the sake of country. I have no money, possessions for the sake of country, but look at how people are treating me. Ayo. If he gets into this kind of a thinking, destroyed, done, poach. Where is Modi? So come what may, he is there, simply standing, glowing, and then you look at him and then you say, Che. At 76, if he can be like that, what am I doing in my life? How? Because he has practiced that. How to be a witness? How to be a witness of what? Of various tendencies of the mind. Because it is in your mind that as soon as the sensations come, depending upon the impressions, various tendencies rise. So learn to be a witness. That is what he's teaching us here. Rāga-dveṣha. As soon as a sensation comes, I either have a raga. I love it. My child, my book, my country, my thing, my mind, raga. I want more. My sweet. Or dveṣha. Not mine. Dveṣha. So rāga-dveṣha. Either this way or this way. No. Shri Krishna is teaching, no. Either this way or this way, you're going to be bound in life. Raga, if you go towards raga, if something that you don't like comes, you're going to be miserable. If you go towards hate, you're going to create destruction. So learn to watch raga and dveṣha. They're rising in your own mind, Arjuna, not somebody else's mind. They're rising in your own mind. How? Because of the way you have cultivated your impressions in the mind. You have cultivated. How does Tamil language come into you when somebody is speaking in Tamil? How does Kannada language come into you when somebody is speaking in Kannada? Because you have cultivated that. So now cultivate what? To be a witness. Of course, it is going to be difficult in the beginning. Was it easy for you to walk? No, you must have fallen 20,000 times, but you never minded because there was nobody who could tell, hey, give up. Even if they were telling you, you did not understand. So you were happy. Dhapak you fell. But you stood up, you stood up, you stood up. Nobody taught you. You have to stand up again and again. Nobody taught you, but it is inherent in you. That is how you are. That is your true nature. The greatest scientist, the greatest mountaineer. You have nothing to fear, worry. Arjuna, recognize that power within you and become free from rāga-dveṣha. The one who is free from rāga-dveṣha, he attains the grace of God. What is grace of God? Happiness, peace, creativity, energy. All these are grace of God. What more you want? Look at Modi, smiling, beaming all the time. That is the grace of God. How? It is in you also. It's your inherent capacity. It's inherent power. I and you just need to cultivate. Bring it out. Shall we? Hari Om.
Please, we can make a start.
Ishaji, is this bringing clarity?
Yes, sir. I will agree to everything, but yeah, one day I will practice it.
Yeah, as you told, Vijay, there are certain situations wherein we'll have to react. Say, for example, if something is going wrong in front of us, rather than we being a witness, there's some action need to be taken. So, in that case, how do we act?
I want to just modify one small thing there, what you are saying, Santoshji. So, I am saying that we need to respond. So, in any given situation, there is a thinking and there is an action. So, in a situation is happening, say for example, somebody is hitting somebody, and I need to first of all look at what are the possible ways in which I can respond. One of my response can be simply keep quiet, turn my eyes away, go, as if nothing is happening. Another response could be I go in between and I pull them apart. Another response could be call 10 other people and say, stop them. Another response could be I call police. So like that, in any situation, there are more than one possible ways in which I can respond. So choose that response which brings about the maximum harmony. So by being a witness, it is not at all to say, oh, simply be, let whatever is happening happen. No. That is not at all what is meant. What is meant is choose that response which brings about the maximum harmony in a given situation. That way, you will not ever be feeling any kind of agitation because you know why you are choosing that response. Maybe, if two people are fighting with each other and they have some, let's say, donne, machu, something like that, you may not feel physically able enough to go and simply stop. So you may want to call 10 other people. So when you choose consciously, you know why you're choosing that. And you are very clear in your mind that among the different possible options, I've chosen this. So that's what is meant by being a witness. When is that it is possible for you to identify all these possible solutions? When you practice being a witness. You have nothing to gain or lose is what a witness consciousness really means. It may be your own child who's in the fighting, who may be about to get hit. But what does a witness conscious means? That you fundamentally have nothing to gain or lose. However, in that particular situation, What is the right response? How to determine the right response? That response through which maximum harmony can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, what happened yesterday? My son and daughter were fighting. I mean, initially it started with a conversation, and suddenly my son hit my daughter, and I was just, witnessing. And then she went and scratched with the nail, and he got frustrated, and again both of them fighted, and I just stopped eating, and I just separated them, and I scolded both of them. You go to this room. You go to this room. We'll see. Then after 3 hours, both of them, become one. But I told the same thing to my wife. She started shouting on my son. You're not taking care of your, sister, some XYZ, something and all. But they corrected themselves. But initially, as you told, I would have actually reacted to my son or my daughter, but it would have not given a, fruitful this one. Yeah, that's what, as you told, whenever there is a raga-dveṣha, me and mine comes, we have been practicing such a way, this is mine and this is what happens. In the Sakshi Bhava, as you told, whether it could be son or wife or whoever it is, that doesn't matter to me. And then, do the role what I need to play with the peace and harmony. Then, yeah, that is what we ultimately gain, that peace, and, do our job right in the right way and be in the Sakshi Bhava. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santoshji. Ishaji, any other points or anything else to add?
Than everything else, that last one was very clear. I was also thinking, how will I keep quiet and witness everything? But yeah, I think, in certain things, what you said, they say, no, put yourself in other situation and see, put yourself in other shoes and see. I think it's better, don't put in anybody's shoes, just be an outsider and see the situation. I think clarity is much better.
Oh, wow. You put it so nicely. No, really. And that's the whole idea. To be detached means, Sri Krishna teaches and says in many different ways, Arjuna, act without attachment. Okay. So you have to act as if you are detached. Now, how is it that possible? It is possible when you know that it is not mine. See, for example, for the neighbor's problem, you and I always have the best solution. No.
Yeah, correct.
It is for my problem that I feel, ayyo.
Yeah.
So be a neighbor to your own problem is what Sri Krishna is essentially teaching.
True, sir. It's happening at home.
True.
Idea. Okay. Around me, there are so many people. Everybody calls my husband for counseling, whether it's their wife or their husband. Okay. So he keeps, so many women call him, and I'll be like, find one guy for me also whom I can, say bad things about you also. Everybody will advise, you don't do. And then he will advise people, if anybody is pregnant, he'll advise their husbands how to treat their pregnant wife. I was like, even I was pregnant.
See, that's what every wife thinks, that, her husband, is very good advisor to all other wives.
Even
For my problem,
husbands think that we are very good with others. That is the problem, because we are not doing, right? So when we are not doing, we are always right. Only the one who's doing will find difficulty.
Santoshji, you came to say something.
No. As she was mentioning, Ishaji was mentioning, right? That is what we should be always treat. We should not wear the other one shoes, and we should be outside that. And as you also told, we should be neighbor inside the house. That is what more toughest thing, and which we need to practice. And even though if we behave like that, might be after 1 or 2 months, we will start. Nowadays you have started not responding to me, and and I know this is important for you, but still you have to respond to me in other. Then okay, fine. And yeah, correct. But we have to practice a lot, Vijayji. That is what it is. Not to get that in order to be asangoham. It is very easy to say asangoham, but practicing is what make us, to stand there in the Sakshi Bhava.
You've seen all these mimicry artists. Immediately they become as if like the other person. Suddenly they switch to some other person. Suddenly they switch to some other person. It's impossible to know that they're separate from that other person. So how is it possible? Only when they have been very carefully noticing the body language, the voice modulation, everything, no? And they have practiced. They have practiced it again and again, again and again. So be that actor. And nobody can tell that he's acting, right? So in fact, that is your very inherent power. Actually, each one of us is a great actor, but we've forgotten that we're acting. That's all the only thing that we need to remind ourselves. I'm acting as a husband, I'm acting as a wife, I'm acting as a son, I'm acting as a mother, father, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So now, how can I do this acting? When you're acting, even as a beggar, no, you have no problem. Somebody comes and yells at you as a beggar in let's say in a story, no, you're a beggar. Somebody comes and says, they spit at you. You cry and you go. But afterwards, people come and congratulate you. What a beggar you were. And you also feel, yeah, I was a very good beggar. But in life, if somebody comes and says, you silly fellow, you are very beggar-like, suddenly, I feel so hurt. How can you call me beggar-like? I have been giving money after money after money. Look, my pocket doesn't have even money. I've given all the money in my pocket. You call me beggar. So I get so much affected, no? So
ultimately, we should not involve into the character. We should be a character, but not involved.
Know that you're playing the character.
Character. If we involve, then again, we'll become the character.
Play the character. Don't become the character.
Be the character, yes. Thanks, Vijayji.
All right. So, shall we end the contemplation then?
Yes, sir.
Hari Om.